Hey guys, it is Kate here from HelloFunnels.co and welcome to Doing It Online podcast. Today we are talking about 7 simple steps that you need to take, that everyone needs to take if you are wanting to scale your online course to 7 figures and beyond. So this is going to be a juicy one. I hope you've got your pen or your notepad on your phone ready and let's go. Alrighty guys, now before we jump into today's episode, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to a brand new, totally free training that we're going to be running next week, which is a 7-figure course formula. So this is where I'm going to be pulling back the curtain and sharing all the shifts that we made, the steps that we took, and the systems that we installed to grow our business from 6 to 7 figures, and how we are helping our current 6-figure clients to install these same systems and to scale really, really quickly as well. So we're going to obviously start diving into this briefly in this episode, but we're going to go so much deeper inside the masterclass. Plus, there's going to be plenty of time for live feedback and Q&As at the end. So if you want to come along, come and grab your seat. Like I said, it's totally free. It's totally live. The link is below, or you can go to hellofunnels.co/the word 7. So SEVEN. Like I said, just grab the link below and save your seat. And now that you've done that, I hope you've done that, let's jump into today's episode. So as I mentioned, there are a series of steps that I've noticed that need to be taken to be able to start scaling business past that 6-figure mark. So for quick backstory on my previous businesses, for anyone who doesn't know, so this is actually HelloFunnels I call it Business 3.2 because I've been creating online businesses since 2007, and I made all of the mistakes along the way, and I seemed to be really good initially at getting businesses quite quickly into the sort of the mid 6-figure mark, but then they would get stuck, and they would stay stuck frustratingly for years. And I've been doing everything and I'll talk about, some of these common things that people do that kind of keep them stuck. And then at the end of it, I get so frustrated, I completely blow up the business and start again. And then I get back to that same point and I'm like, what is happening? Why am I not moving? And it wasn't just me. I had, friends who I've made along the way who had similar businesses, and we all kind of kept getting stuck at these same points. And then one by one, we started to get unstuck and start growing. And I noticed again that there were these real commonalities of things that we finally sort of figured out, finally put into place, finally started focusing on, that made such a big difference. And so then we started sharing this with our clients and started noticing the same for them. So that is what I'm going to be going through today. So as I mentioned, it's a juicy one. I hope if you're going for a walk, it's a long one. Or if you're sitting down and listening or doing the dishes or whatever, have a pen nearby because you're going to want to take a couple of notes. So number one thing that you need to make sure you have locked down, or else it's going to be very difficult for you to scale beyond that 6-figure mark, is that you need to be so crazy clear on who your dream client is, like knowing them like you know your best friend kind of thing, and how you can actually add the most value to them. And it's not always what we first think. It's not always what our first offer is. And it's also not always what we directly market. But we need to know, where do we come in and where can we be the most valuable, make the biggest impact, the biggest change, the thing that is going to, make the biggest difference in their lives, obviously in a positive way. Because when you actually know that, those two things really clearly, it makes a huge difference about how you structure your offers and your programs, what you deliver, how you market it, how you price it, all of that stuff. I did a quick little exercise in the previous episode. If you want to get a bit clearer on that, I would go stop this one, go back, do that little exercise because it can help you get really, really clear. But if you don't know that, if you're still going broad, if you're still trying to be kind of a little bit good at a lot of things to a lot of different people, it's going to make it really, really hard for you to then become seen as the expert, the go-to person, the master of something, because you're not. You're just kind of good at a lot of things. So kind of good at a lot of things can get you to 6 figures. It's going to be really, really hard for that to then get you beyond that point. So that's number one. Number two is you need probably max 2 really strong offers that play into who is that for that target market that we talked about, and that one way you can add the most value. So, and at least one of those offers is going to need to be a premium offer. Again, gone are the days of being able to come up with like a 297 program and then just send a bunch of $2 leads to it on Facebook and scale it to the moon. Like, that used to be able to happen, and it's probably the story you've heard about some of the people that you follow on the internet. But sadly, it is rarely, very rarely the story today, unless you happen to be like a Facebook ads like savant, which most of us are not. Most of us are just kind of okay at it, and we do the best we can. So if you do not have that, if you are not like some Facebook ads magician, or you do not have like hundreds of thousands of people on your email list already, trying to push past this, this sort of like earnings and profit ceiling, just with low ticket offers. And I think low ticket is anything really under $1,000. You're going to need something that's a next level. And, and that can be a bit of going back to the drawing board, testing some things out. But the thing that I saw happen, this was really one of the common bits of feedback that everybody was saying from like my friend group and myself. So one of the things that I was noticing and seeing, not just with my own business, but again with friends, was this. It was sort of like there's this belief that, okay, this is how you grow. You create a great offer, sell a bunch of them, and once you've got that offer, like, okay, you just spend more on ads, and you should be able to make however much you want from spending more on Facebook ads. But unfortunately, the truth is, as your budget grows on Facebook, generally the cost of acquiring a new customer, the cost of making a sale also grows, and you're going to end up hitting a point where actually you're probably spending about the same as you're getting back. And then it's going to be pretty impossible to grow past that point. And it's also pretty sucky and stressful. So if you do not have that offer that is priced, with enough of a margin for marketing in it that you can, scale it beyond that point, it's going to be really, really difficult. Now, we go into that in a lot more inside the masterclass. So if you haven't grabbed your seat for that, just grab the link below or go to hellofunnels.co/7, so SEVEN, grab your seat, because that's something that I'm really, really excited about diving into. Okay, the third thing that you need is you need to have a team. It doesn't have to be a huge team, but you need to have taken off, a lot of the day-to-day stuff, because you're going to need to start showing up in a different way. You're going to need to have the space to start being more creative, to start being open to new ideas, to be pushing yourself. A lot of stuff comes up as you sort of start scaling. And if you don't have a team to, make sure that the wheels don't fall off in that time, you're not going to have the capacity, you're not going to have the energy, you're not going to have the creativity. And so like basic things like, outsourcing your content, your customer service, Facebook ads, help with some delivery, like maybe a second coach or something in your program. None of these have to be super expensive, but they are all going to be mandatory if you want to get to that next level. All right, number 4, and this is one that I know a lot of people want to skip, is you have to have done the reps, and you've got to have done them live. I see a lot of people, they come in like, oh, I just want to scale. I want to, I've created my course. I just want to start selling it on autopilot. And they haven't taken the time to do the live stuff. Now, look, I don't love launching. I'm kind of anti-launching myself, but I think there is no better way to go out and to learn and to test things quickly than to do it live. Unless you've got a gigantic marketing budget and you're happy to just burn through it testing things, usually the best way to do things to start with is to do it live. You've got to do those reps. You've got to learn what your market responds to. You've got to learn what works, what doesn't. You've got to learn what messaging, what features you need to be highlighting. And it gives you some amazing feedback to make changes to your offer, to your delivery, all of that stuff. You need to have done those reps. And yes, it's no fun. No one wants to do them. But, it's like saying that you want to get a 6-pack just by drinking protein shakes. It's not going to happen. You're going to do the sit-ups. So if you want to have, a high 6-7-figure business, that one that's, running mostly on autopilot, or even not, like if you're going to have it live, then you definitely got to do the live things. It's never, so You got to do the reps, guys. You cannot skip those sucky first steps. I know everybody wants to, but if you do, all you're doing is actually putting yourself behind and making it take longer. So suck it up, put on your big girl pants, go out, do the live reps. All right, number 5 is you need to have some systems in your business around your marketing and your selling. Now, of course, if, ideal world, and if you're one of my clients, those systems would be, some sort of funnel that means that most stuff is done really automated, really hands-off, and it's just running like a little engine behind the scenes. Not everyone wants to do that. It's your business, it's your rules. You don't have to do everything completely automated if you don't want to, but you do have to have systems. You do have to know how to sell your programs, whether it's live or whether it's automated or whether it's both. And you do need to know that those systems work. You need to have spent the time dialing them in. You need to know that it's going to be reliable. You need to know that if you sit down at the start of the year and go, I want to do X sales and make X revenue this year, that means that I need to do this number of launches, or I need to have this ad spend. Like, you need to be able to do that kind of planning and that kind of reverse engineering. Otherwise, you're just guessing and you'll kind of fluke it if you hit your goals. But to be able to scale to that level, you need to be able to be making these guesses a very educated guess, a guess that's based on, okay, I know what I convert at. I know what my ad spend needs to be. So you've got to have the systems. You've got to have some kind of repeatable, reliable way of marketing and selling your programs. Don't have to be funnels, although I think you're crazy if they're not, but that's up to you. Number 6 is you need to know how to drive leads. So you need to know what levers you need to pull and push, or buttons to press, or whatever, metaphor works for you, to be able to say, all right, like I said, when you're planning out that year and going, I need to sell this many sales or get this many clients this year to hit my goals, you need to then be able to go, all right, well, that means I need this number of new leads, and I know how to do that. I know what works best. I know what platforms work best. I know what messaging works best. I know what types of ads, or I know how to go out and get JV partners, or again, there's a whole marketing mix in there of ways to drive leads to your systemized marketing and sales. But you need to know what works for you, and you need to know that you can press that button anytime you want, for as long as you want, to get you the outcome that you need. And then the final piece, and I think this is really, again, it's another missing piece that a lot of people don't realize they need, or if they do it too late, is you need, whichever that mode of driving leads into your funnels, onto your list, you need to make sure that those leads are paying for themselves right up front. That's, this is one of our sort of mantras. It's one of our key KPIs that we get, our higher level clients to really focus on. And it's one of those things that when I unlocked it and realized and got working our business, that really helped us scale up really quickly, is making your marketing pay for itself. Now, this isn't just about going out there and creating some low ticket offer and running ads to it. It needs to be done the right way. It needs to be done the right time. And you need to make sure you have those systems that I mentioned earlier in the back end ready then to convert those people coming through. But if you don't have it, again, you're going to hit that ceiling. You're going to hit that Facebook ad ceiling where the cost to get a new client starts to grow and it's no longer profitable to grow. And then you're kind of stuck at this next level, even if it's a bit higher, but it's going to be just as frustrating, just as sucky. So, and if you want to make sure that you have a path to grow and to keep growing and to do it in a way that feels safe, that isn't risky, that doesn't involve you donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to Facebook and getting nothing in return, you need this 7th piece of the puzzle. This is one of the other things where you're going to go into deep, guys, on the masterclass. So if you haven't yet, hit pause, grab the link out of the show notes, come and save your seat to the 7-figure course formula masterclass, and I will see you over there. Alrighty, guys. Bye.